Hi folks, I'm your town manager, Kevin Smith, and I just wanted to take a brief moment to go over with you the various warrant articles that you'll be asked to vote on at the town elections on Tuesday, March 9th. Polls open at 6 a.m., they close at 8 p.m., and I can't encourage you enough to come out and vote on March 9th. If you're used to waiting at the Starbucks drive-through, I can assure you it's almost going to be quicker than the amount of time it would take you to get your coffee at the drive-through. It's quick, easy, simple. It's at the high school gymnasium. We had 17,000 people turn out for the presidential election. Typically, we only get about 2,500 though that turn out for town elections, even though you'll be voting on things that'll affect your pocketbook, so to speak, the most. And so come out and vote on Tuesday, March 9th. And again, I just want to briefly run through the warrant articles with you so you can maybe have a better understanding of what it is you'll be voting on. There's 15 warrant articles in this year's ballot for the town. The first warrant article is the election of officers. There's a variety of folks running for different town offices. Do your research, educate yourself about who's running, decide who you like best, and give them your vote next Tuesday. The second article is the biggie. That's the town's operating budget. And this year, we'll be asking for a proposed budget of $38,914,836. Now, that budget is $150,000 lower than the default budget this year. And in addition to that, we're also going to be freezing about $150,000 in expenditures until we have a better idea of what our revenue picture looks like later on this year. And so the proposed budget, again, is lower than the default budget. And that's the budget we're recommending. Now, you can vote for the default budget. That would give us more money, but we're recommending the budget with less money. Now, how many times will government tell you to give us less money than more money? You're hearing it here first. We're asking for your vote on the proposed budget again. That is next Tuesday. And also, it represents less than a 2% increase over last year's budget. It's actually 1.76%. And if you add in the frozen money in the budget, it's actually 1.4% increase over last year's budget. Article number 3, that's our Expendable Maintenance Trust Fund. We're asking for $180,000 to be raised for this. Half of that will come out of our what's called our unassigned fund balance, which is kind of like our surplus. And so it would require us to raise $90,000 of the $180,000 in property taxes. And it results in a tax impact of 1.9 cents. And what is the Expendable Maintenance Trust Fund used for? It's used to maintain and repair town facilities and infrastructure, such as repairing the HVAC systems, plumbing, electrical systems, making repairs to buildings such as roof and siding replacements as well. So basically, you as a taxpayer spent a lot of money on some really nice town buildings. This is used to maintain those buildings, the fire stations, police station, town hall, the library, the cable studio, the senior center. It's to maintain and make sure that we're dealing with the small repairs now so that we don't have larger repairs down the road. So that is article number 3. Article number 4. This is to raise and appropriate $650,000 for our roadway maintenance. It is what it says. This is for road repairs. So shim and overlays, reconstruction of roadways, fixing the potholes, all that sort of thing that goes into roadway maintenance. That's what we're asking this money for. The tax impact on this is 13.7 cents. I should mention as well that every year we build the tax rate from zero. So when I say the tax rate, tax impact from a warrant article is X, that does not mean it's on top of what is already the tax rate. It just means it's building it up from zero. And I noticed I didn't mention what it was on the operating budget. The proposed tax impact on that is $4.75. But again, we build it from zero. So when you hear about the tax impact, I don't want people to freak out at home and say, oh my gosh, it's now going to go even higher than what it already is. It's just every year you build it from the ground level. So again, Article 4 is on roadway maintenance, and that's for $650,000. Article 5, that's our GIS system, which stands for Geographic Information System. This is used regularly across all the departments, especially by the police and fire departments. The public also has access to the GIS site. This is our mapping system that we use in town, and we're looking for $28,000 to be put in the capital reserve. That's a tax impact of 0.06 cents, so it's not very much. But what we do with that money is every 5 years we do a flyover in town to update the mapping system. If you've never gone on to the GIS mapping system, I highly encourage you to do it. There's so much information on there. You can find out property boundaries, roughly what they are, of your home, your neighbor's home, any commercial property. You can look up assessments on it. You can look up zoning. You can look up conservation overlays. There's so much information on the GIS mapping. Just Google Londonderry GIS system. It's a lot more detailed than just Google Earth. So people may be thinking, well, why do we do flyovers? Can't we take Google Maps? No, we cannot. And if you go on the mapping system, you'll understand why. But again, we use it internally for police and fire as well. It's a very valuable system that we have here in town. We have one of the best in the state. And so that's why we're looking to put money into that capital reserve. Article number 6 is the expansion of Pillsbury Cemetery. That is for $75,000. That would result in a tax rate impact of 1.6 cents. And this would allow us to continue to expand Pillsbury Cemetery. It's the last cemetery we have in town that has space for people who need to be buried. And so this is for to continue expanding it and prepare the land so that we have additional land for burials well into the future. Article number 7, Fire Department Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. And this would raise and appropriate $50,000 to put into that fund with a tax impact of 1.1 cents. And again, this is for all of our fire equipment needs. We're noted as having some of the best in the state of New Hampshire. The fire equipment is top notch. We want to make sure it remains that way. We want to make sure we're keeping up with the latest technology. If hopefully you never have to use the EMS or fire services in town, but when you do, you will know that we have top-notch equipment, and it very often saves lives. And so again, that would be $50,000 into that account. That's Article number 7. Article number 8, this is for our DPW equipment and vehicle leases. So what this is looking for is overall, it's looking for $450,000 to lease 2 6-wheeler trucks and 1 1-ton pickup truck. But the first year's payment, because it's a lease again, is $55,645. Now, it's not a lease in the typical way that you think of leases when you lease a vehicle, maybe for 3 or 4 years, and then you turn it in and get a new one. Again, this would be a 10-year lease. We lease most of our equipment now in the town of Londonderry. We have found this to be a much more fiscally prudent, efficient way of managing our vehicles rather than running them into the ground and throwing good money after bad by constantly having to repair the vehicles. We lease pretty much all of our fire vehicles now. Same thing on the town hall vehicles, the police vehicles. The only ones we're not doing it are the DPW. We want to roll them into our leasing program. And it ensures that, again, when there's major repairs that need to be done, it's within the existing agreement, but also we don't run into a problem where we're stuck with vehicles at the end of their life, and if we don't have money to purchase new vehicles, that we're not throwing a lot of money into trying to keep old vehicles going. And so that would be Article number 8. And again, the tax impact on that first year's payment, $55,645, is 1.2 cents. Article number 9 is for the Master Plan Capital Reserve Fund. This would appropriate $35,000. It would come from our undesignated fund balance, so there is no tax impact on this warrant article. Statutorily, we're required by law to update our master plan every 10 years. The last one we did was in 2012, and so we're coming up on having to update this plan again. You can, if you ever want to look at the existing master plan, you can do so by coming into Town Hall, visiting the planning department, or you can find it online as well. But again, this would be for updating our master plan in 2022. Article number 10 is the Recreation Department Capital Reserve Fund. This is a fund we started last year, appropriating $15,000. This would appropriate only $5,000 this year. Again, this money would come from the unassigned fund balance, so there is no tax impact on it. But that is Article number 10, the Recreation Department Capital Reserve Fund. And that is used, that fund is used to purchase capital equipment for the rec department, such as a riding lawnmower that we had to purchase last year because the old one conked out. We needed a new one, and so we used that capital reserve fund in order to make that purchase. Article number 11 is the Cable Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. This would appropriate $32,500 for the means of purchasing and replacing the equipment for our cable studio. The good news about this is this comes from our franchise fee with Comcast. So Comcast is paying the bill here. The taxpayers aren't doing it, so there's no tax impact to this. But the way municipal government works is we still need you to vote yes so that we can accept the money. Again, it's $32,500, not being raised by the taxpayers, being paid to us by Comcast, and that is for the purchasing and replacement of cable equipment. Article number 12. This would raise and appropriate $250,000 to purchase 5 acres of land at 114 Pillsbury Road, which is owned by Moose Hill Orchard. So basically, this is the apple orchard that's across the street from Matthew Thornton. Now, there's approximately 28 acres there. The town would be purchasing 5 of those 28 acres to be used for a municipal purpose sometime down the road. It would most likely continue to be farmed for now, but again, if and when the town needed it for a municipal purpose, we would have 5 acres. The remaining 23 acres most likely would be purchased by the Conservation Commission, and that would mean that that land would never be developed into housing or anything else. It would stay agricultural. So again, that would cost for the town's 5 acres, $250,000, and that would have to be approved by the voters. Article number 13. This is to appropriate, again, $250,000 for the funding for the town to assist in the cost of extending a municipal water line through Pennachuck Water along Lancaster Drive in town. Now, the funding of the project will be achieved through a cost-sharing agreement between the owner of the Apple Tree Mall, the Town of Londonderry, and the residents of Lancaster Drive. So the Town of Londonderry, if this article is approved, the Town of Londonderry's contribution will be $250,000. The residents of Lancaster Drive would contribute $16,000, and then the balance of the project, which is probably at least $250,000, would be borne by the owner of the Apple Tree Mall. So the owner of the Apple Tree Mall will pay at least half of the project, will not pay less than what the town is paying at $250,000. The town's cost could end up being less than that, but we're capped at $250,000. And again, this would be to extend municipal water to Lancaster Drive. Why is that? There was a major PFAS contamination in that particular neighborhood. It affected 8 wells on Lancaster Drive, and we believe it emanated from the Apple Tree Mall. Now, the contamination probably goes back prior to the current owner of the mall ever owning it, but nonetheless, it seems that through DES, the Environmental Services, that the contamination came from the area of the mall and affected the wells on Lancaster Drive. And so we're looking to extend the municipal water line that's already at about the workout club to that neighborhood, again, through this cost-sharing agreement where basically the town and the Apple Tree Mall are paying 50% each, but the town is capped at $250,000, and the residents, again, are also pitching in $16,000 to that project. And then Article 14, this is by citizens petition. And by the way, the tax impact on both of those, Articles 12 and 13, the $250,000, the tax impact is 5.3 cents on each of those. Article 14 is a citizens petition to urge the New Hampshire legislature for transparency and redistricting this year. And again, that's by citizens petition. You can read the petition online or when you get to the ballot booth that day, but it does not have a fiscal impact to it. And then Article 15 is simply to transact no other business. So it's essentially putting the meeting to a close. So those are all of the articles in a nutshell. If you have further questions about any of these things, feel free to get a hold of me prior to Tuesday. Email me, ksmith@londonderrynh.org. Again, that's ksmith@londonderrynh.org. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me. You can try me at the office, 432-1100, extension 120. Again, 432-1100, extension 120. Or just if you see me walking around Market Basket, Planet Fitness, Home Depot, feel free to stop me and say, hey, got a question about this. I'm happy to talk with you about it. Again, we want as many people as possible to come out and vote. I just gave you all of the town ballot. There, of course, is the school district ballot as well. You can find out all this information online too. But please get out and vote Tuesday, March 9th. Thank you.